Hello viewers and welcome to your Wednesday edition of Erongo Talk. My name is Leandra Mauer. So today we join you from the Walvish Bay municipality. Now it's quite busy here as we are getting geared up for the festive season. Now as usual we bring you the latest updates of what is happening across our beautiful region, and then of course tell you what to expect in your print edition of today. Now for today's show we focus on the inaugural walk that was hosted by the Walvish Bay Correctional Facility Community Advisory Committee under the Namibian Correctional Service. Now, this walk was done to raise awareness, foster dialogue, and mobilize collective action against gender-based violence. Now, Erongo Governor, that is Natalia Wakwago, says she stressed the need for urgent reform, while inmate Justin Fredericks shared that violence is never the answer. Now, additionally, we hear from Noreen Arangies. She is our main interview for today, a leukemia survivor whose journey took her from being airlifted to South Africa for life-saving treatment to rebuilding a life after facing isolation and so many other challenges. Now her experience reshaped her understanding of faith, family and compassion, and today she speaks out passionately for better care and support for Namibians facing serious illnesses. Now you've got to stay tuned because we bring you all of this right here on Erongo Talk. Now, kicking off this week's news highlights, that is Pastor Emeritus Klaus-Peter Tietz delivers an insightful and critical review of church and state in Namibia by Gerard Tottemeyer at the official launch of the book that took place at the Prinsessens Ruprecht Hotel in Swakopmund. Now, the book is currently free for anyone that is interested in checking it out.
In the Namibian society, a critical review. What is this booklet all about? What kept Gerhard's mind occupied until the end? Most Namibian churches had been anti-apartheid activist organizations until Independence Day on 21st March 1990. Unfortunately, my own church, Elsengelk, had not joined the other two Lutheran churches to write the famous, courageous open letter to the then Prime Minister Johannes Vorster in 1971, protesting against serious human rights violations of the South African administration. I regret this decision of my church sincerely. But despite the role of the other churches in the struggle for self-determination and human dignity, attendees of the Thanksgiving service in the Windhoek Stadium on the morning of Independence Day,
Erongo Governor Natalia Wakwago says highlighted the recent murder in Usakos and stressed the need for urgent reform when it comes to gender-based violence. Now, she made these remarks at the gender-based violence walk that was hosted by the Walvish Bay Correctional Facility Community Advisory Committee that is under the Namibian Correctional Services.
In Usakos, where a young lady with children was found naked, killed, found in a riverbed in Usakos, in one of my constituencies of this region. I don't know what else, how different we should address. We should reach out to those societies that are labeled to be committing these crimes, to reform, to transform them to become the good societies that we have in this Republic of Namibia and in our region. I pray to God that all these words, from the prayer, Madam, to the last speaker, from the performances that we have seen here, can only and truly have that true meaning earlier you appeared, you say these beautiful words. Was it a lip service? Were you trying to impress? God one day will ask from each one of us, especially those of us in the positions of authority, to answer. This social decay that has destroyed our young people and that are destroying, as I said yesterday, a 43-year-old woman was killed, found dead in Usabos.
Now, at the same event, there is inmate Justin Fredericks, who is currently serving a 19-year sentence for raping a minor, shared how his actions caused deep pain to the victim, her family, his family, and society at large.
I'm currently serving a 19-year term. I was sentenced in the year 2013. I committed a crime whereby I raped a minor with the age of 14. She was 14 actually. And I pleaded guilty to the charge, found guilty, it's been charged, and I was admitted to the correctional facility. When I was admitted to the correctional facility, it was very hard for me to adapt to the environment. I still could not believe the fact that I was in prison. I could not accept the reality of being in prison. So it was very hard for me to see myself behind bars. But I came to a stage still after attending various programs, especially GBV. I went to undergo a training. It was the Ministry of Child, Ministry of Gender. And that's where I came to realize that I should let go of the past and work on a new future. So I start to forgive myself. I start to admit the fact and the reason why I am behind bars. This does not only affect me, but it also affects the victim itself, the family of the victim, my family, and the entire society. My decisions that I took that particular day brought a big negative impact on many others around me. The decision I took that particular day brought a dark cloud over the family of the victim, and especially the victim herself. It was very hard for me to address or to be free in the community after I was released on bail. It was very hard for me to see or look the complainant, the victim, into her eyes. It was very hard for me to walk around. But when I entered into the correctional facility, with the help of the correctional officers, I realized that I can change. But the decision I took that particular night, it broke her into pieces. I put a shame upon her life, make her to go through a very tough time. But today, I want to speak to somebody out there. Today I want to tell you that violence is not the way of solving problems. Today, I want to reprimand you. Today I want to warn you. I want to teach you today that gender-based violence is rooting out our nation. If you are a perpetrator of GBV, I want to advise you to stop it right now. I want to advise you to seek help. I want to advise you to change your decisions, to change your way of living, as this may cause your downfall at a later stage. Brothers and sisters, it's not easy and wasn't easy at all to use platforms such as this to reveal the pain I caused, the trauma I caused. But with the help of God, I may say that I'm free from inside. If we start today, tomorrow, assuredly, we will have a gender-based free nation. That's why I'm encouraging you today to step up. Be the person, the man that was created in the Garden of Eden, the Adam that God has called. Responsibility was placed on our shoulders to take care of women. But today, we are doing the opposite. We are ruling them out, which was not the case. Take full responsibility of your actions. Make a change. Be a better person for a better tomorrow. Let's break the silence. Let's seek out, and together we will heal.
Life is unpredictable, and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
Now, as promised, we tell you what you can expect in today's print edition of Erongo, which you can find inside the Republikein, the Namibian Sun, or the Algemeine Zeitung. Now, on our front page, we feature Yahweh Special School, which was founded through the Yahweh Down Syndrome Foundation. Now, the school has grown into an inclusive learning space where children of all abilities are supported, celebrated, and empowered to reach their full potential. And then moving on, we bring you the groundbreaking ceremony for the Walvis Bay Child and Family Center, as well as the Swakopmund uranium handover of 2 mast lights to the community of Wagdar in Swakopmund. Now, additionally, the Swakopmund municipality, or the council rather, has approved a new digital environmental management system to strengthen enforcement and public accountability in environmental matters. Also, from news from Swakopmund Council, Swakopmund will once again carry the cost of bringing in additional police officers for the festive season after the local police force formally requested sponsorship for accommodation and meals for 20 special reserve Force members. And then finally, the municipality of Walvis Bay officially opened the upgraded Independence Beach Promenade, providing residents with a refreshed public space. Now you need to make sure that you grab your copy of the Republican or the Namibian Sun or the Algemene Zeitung, where you can find inside that is your Erongo print edition. Or you can always just head on over to our website, that's at www.erongo.com.na, to subscribe to our newsletter or just check out our online edition.
Have you ever wondered why Grandma keeps her money under the mattress? And why is Angela uninsured? The Namibia Financial Inclusion Survey 2025 will help us find all the answers. From 6 October till the 4th of November 2025, the Namibia Statistics Agency teams in uniforms with tablets will visit homes across all 14 regions to learn about financial access, informal banking and saving habits. Email us at info@nsa.org.na or at 061 431 3200.
Now up next, Noreen Arangies, a leukemia survivor whose journey took her from being airlifted here from Namibia to South Africa for life-saving treatment to rebuilding her life. Now she shares her story of faith, resilience, determination, and then calling for better care and support for Namibians while facing serious illnesses.
I was diagnosed at the end of November 2021, and I was told that I cannot be treated in Namibia because we didn't have the infrastructure, neither did we have a hematologist at the time. So I was stuck. The doctor that took care of me at Lady Puamba, where I was admitted, fabulous doctor, Dr. Prouver, he's actually a pulmonologist, but he then called friends of his in South Africa that he studied with, who were hematologists, and asked them if they would be willing to take in a Namibian citizen because they didn't have any other way with me. There was no one on oncology in Ubuntu couldn't treat me, nothing. And they said, by all means, yes. And it was a 1-2-3 situation. They airlifted me in 2-3 days after the paperwork. My husband had to run around, get the paperwork done, and I was airlifted to Cape Town, where I spent almost a year. Mostly in isolation, because leukemia is the kind of disease where they have to kill your entire bone marrow. That means you have zero immunity, no white blood counts, red blood cells, platelets, everything. I had blood transfusions almost weekly, the same with platelets. It was a quite arduous journey, horrendous, so to speak, needles, big lines in your arms, chemotherapy from the morning 6 till tonight at 8 for 7 days consecutive. It's not like any other cancer where you get chemo and then you have a break of a week or two or whatever, and then you get a next session for 3-4 hours infusion. Leukemia, they have to take you basically to a point of death in order to save your life. And then it's also the kind of leukemia I had. The only way to survive it was to get a bone marrow transplant. Unfortunately for me, I did not have a match anywhere in Africa. Not my own siblings were a match. My brother and sister were a match for each other, but not for me. So my son, I have one son, he was 14 at the time, and the doctor said to me, he was a 50% match, obviously. He said, I'll have to do the transplant with him. And I refused, because what mother would do that, knowing that it could be a fail? The transplant does not guarantee a survival at all. It's just a chance. And then your body can still refuse to accept the cells. You can get terrible diseases like graft versus host disease, where the cells attack your organs and then you die anyway. So I said, I'm not going to do it, because should I die, my son would feel somehow responsible for it. The doctors was quite angry at me, but eventually they did decide to look on the World Register, and they found 3 donors there, of which one was a young male in Germany. He was 22 years old at the time, and he was very much willing to donate. So I got his stem cells, but yeah, that was another tale, because afterwards it was quite difficult as well, because now your body has to accept. I became immune compromised. I had 2-3 years of, just trying to recover, lots of hospitalizations, lots of infections. I had to get all my baby immune shots again. I got a new blood type. I got the donor's blood type. I even got a new hair color. My hair is much lighter, but I looked weird when it started growing back again, so I colored it back to my normal dark brown. So yeah, and I obviously changed as a human being a lot as well. You know, I started realizing that the things we chase in life that we think is important, trust me, when you on a deathbed and you really have to take stock of your life, you come to the conclusion, in the end of the day, all that matters is the people that you love, the people that love you, and where your relationship is with God, because there is a life after this life. And I can say that because I had 2 near-death experiences where I literally felt how I was passing over to the other side. And yeah, I can guarantee everyone that we all have to seriously look at our lives. You know, I used to be very ambitious. Work was everything to me. I'm a very determined person. I set goals, I go for them, I achieve them. But this experience taught me that life itself is more valuable. People you love is more valuable. Houses and material possessions and cars and status and degrees and these things, at the end of the day, they come down to nothing. So that is my sort of like message that I want to give to people, that, you know, there's lots of things I can say also regarding patience. Cancer these days is a common thing, I almost want to say. Every one of us knows someone. Personally, I've had a brother who died at the age of 24 to cancer. My father also had cancer. So for my family, it was not a strange thing, but it's always a traumatic thing. I'm very fortunate that the Lord decided to save my life, and I'm here still today, and I can advocate for others going through the same things. I just want to point out, in the past 3 months, I've lost 3 friends in the same support group to cancer. 2 of them were ladies with breast cancer, and the other one was a gentleman, also a colleague and a friend of mine. In the past 2 years, I've lost something like 10 friends to various different kinds of cancer. These are not things that we can be ignorant about anymore. I have written articles in the past. I am educated in communication and marketing and stuff like that. So my job predominantly is a writer. I have written articles about that to advocate for people, you know, going through serious diseases and stuff like that, because I think it's important that companies also realize that these are not problems that are going to go away. You know, COVID-19 taught us that people can die like this, and it can come to anyone at any given moment in time. We cannot pretend like we can just go on in you know, with our daily lives as if things don't happen. We are human beings. We are affected by circumstances, by challenges and all these things, and how we respond to them makes a hell of a difference at the end of the day. So there are different options that companies can look at, like dreaded disease coverages. That also covers them at the end of the day, because employees get sick. They sometimes are off for months. I was fortunate. My employees were willing to give me months on end, nearly a year of sick leave. And then when I returned, due to my immune compromisation, they allowed me to work from home. But a lot of other people don't have that. Some of my friends were let go because they got cancer, because they couldn't be at work consistently. And I think that, you know, speaking from a human perspective, this is absolutely not acceptable. We need to talk about these things. Nobody asked to get sick. Nobody asked that these things happen to you. And yet we all live like as if though it will never happen. It happens to anyone at any given moment in time. Sickness and disease does not, it doesn't ask permission, and it certainly don't choose certain people alone. It can happen to anyone. So yeah, that is part of the things. There's some other wonderful things happening now currently in Namibia, of which I'm very excited and proud about. We have a hematologist in Namibia now, Dr. Simba Kudukwashe. He's my hematologist. He came at the end of 2022 to Namibia. He's a wonderful doctor, and he's had great successes in everything, and he saved my life a couple of times when I had some serious diseases, infections in hospital. Because, like I said, I was immune compromised. I basically had baby immune cells that has to grow up now again and become strong, to fend in an adult body. And Dr. Simba did his first bone marrow transplant now, Wednesday, the 11th of November. First patient in the country. I am so happy for that person. I'm so proud and excited because the trauma I experienced and my family went through, me having to stay in South Africa for almost a year. South Africa wanted to throw me out of the country by the 3-month mark. I needed to get a medical visa. I had to come back to Namibia in a wheelchair. My husband had to fly to fetch me, come back in a wheelchair. The PIC line was strapped to my arm with bandages just so that I can get a medical visa to return back for my treatment there. There were lots of things. The amount of money that you have to spend. I was fortunate. I had a dreaded disease insurance, but it doesn't cover everything because you're talking about thousands and millions and extra costs. It's flights, it's medication, it's out of hospital stays, it's all those things. Our Namibian people are not equipped for these kind of things. So having a doctor here that can do the transplants is absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, this is just the first step, so we can't cater for all kinds of transplants yet in terms of leukemia, because like I said, you get more than 100 of them. Some of them are treatable. I know of patients that has been living with leukemia for more than 20 years. Those are like the chronic myeloids and stuff like that. You get various different kinds. The type that I had was do or die. There wasn't two ways about it, It was very acute and very aggressive. But yeah, in short, that is my story. I don't want to take up too much time. There's a lot I can talk to you about this, but like I said, I really think we should pay more attention to the struggles of our people. We are a small country. We don't have a lot of people. There's a lot of poverty in our country, and yet we have a lot of resources. So we need to start thinking out of the box how we can take better care of our people, whether it's in national funds or whatever the case may be. And also, like I said, companies that do well, that have a lot of employees, should probably consider, dreaded disease benefits and stuff like that, or insurances that can also cover them. These are all things that we can do together as Namibian people for the sake of our people. And like I said, we should remember, it could be you tomorrow, it could be your husband, your child, your family member. I was a perfectly healthy 45-year-old woman. I could hike 12 kilometers at a time. I loved hiking. I had no comorbidities, nothing. And out of the blue, cancer just turned my life around like that. It can happen to anyone at any given moment in time. We should stand together and figure out better ways of accommodating our people.
And that's it for your Wednesday edition of Erongo Talk. You're always welcome to check out our website. That's www.erongo.com.na, or follow us on our social media platforms for some behind-the-scenes content, as well as to see what is happening here in our beautiful Erongo region. Now find us, that is every Wednesday, Friday, oneup2.com, or in NTV, that is DSTV channel 285 or GoTV channel 25. Now until Friday, please keep safe. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.